Welcome back to Seattle's Eastside Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Edwards, with the Eastside Real Estate team. And joining us now is Mr. Doug Peterson of Get Priorities Straight. Now, he's got a very long introduction, but I'm going to be short and sweet. He's an amazing man that spent many years helping a lot of people, and now he has found his niche, and he founded it in 2018. It's called Get Priorities Straight, and it's a program to provide individuals and investors an ability to maximize their personal income and improve their ability to invest. Welcome back to the show, Doug.
Thank you very much. Good to be here.
I love the holiday sweater. It's indeed really ugly. I didn't mean to tell you to wear your ugly holiday sweater.
Come on, it gets uglier. What do you think?
Gosh.
Come on, baby.
Jeez.
I won the ugly sweater contest 2 years ago.
I feel bad. I didn't even dress up for you. I should have. I feel so bad. Listen, Doug, I'm going to ask you about your holiday memory, your youngest possible holiday memory. Was that the lump of coal or what?
No. It was sneaking out with my sister and opening all the presents under the tree before Christmas.
No way.
Yeah, but we taped them back up, but we were pretty bad at it.
Yeah, sure you did. I'm sure nobody suspected that you did that.
But it was such a great idea at the time. It seemed
Did you ruin Christmas that year?
No, got in trouble that year. But
yeah, I got in trouble.
I ruined my own Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, we did that too. We snooped one year and found a telescope and all that stuff. That sucked. I would encourage any young children listening to this podcast, not that that's our target market, but don't do it. Don't ruin your Christmas. Just wait.
I got a meme that said to take empty boxes and wrap them up, and every time your child misbehaves, throw one in the fire.
Just throw it in the fire.
Yeah, but then somebody else said, well, what do you do when you run out of children? Oh, okay, that was bada boom. Another Christmas bad joke.
Very good. All right. Well, we're going to talk about saving money and getting organized once and for all. So I think everyone would like to keep more of what they make. What do you suggest for people who really, really want to save money?
Hey, before I do that, I want to make a comment from our previous guest on utilization. The comment on the sweet spot is if you have over 33%, like one card's 80% and the rest are 1%, you want them all at least below 33%. But he's absolutely right. The lower, the better.
Yeah.
But
that's a good point. And just to point that out, you've been doing that kind of assistance for people for a long time, right? Making that advice to get their credit scores in better position.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of the guy to really help them get positioned before they want to get a mortgage or before, to get them really in good shape on paper if they're trying to get a business loan or whatever, because most people don't know how.
Yeah.
But as far as get more money, it's kind of a fallacy to have more money in savings because it's just a bucket. And there's a lot of stuff we need to do with our money. We got to make our monthly obligations, our infrequent obligations. We want a cash emergency fund. We need to reduce our debt. So you really need to think about how do I, and then we want stuff like a house or college tuition or something. So in order to save money, the thing is to really track it and understand it.
Track it and understand it. So, okay, but you can't predict everything that's going to spend money on. So how do you really look forward in that regard?
So for a business to run efficiently and have profits, they know their income and expenses. And personally, if you want to have money to pay for things, you have to know your income and expenses. And there's so many automatic payments, subscriptions, charges from Amazon, Zelle, Venmo. When you get those statements, they don't even show what we bought. So people are in the dark more than ever before. So I teach people to spend 10 to 20 seconds when they buy something, to log it in an app called YNAB on their phone. And what happens is you find several things you need to do. And that's where organization comes in, because there's going to be things that you go, shoot, now I know where the money's going. I don't want it to go some of those places, some of those subscriptions, some of those. I mean, we spent how much in takeout? I've had people sending $800 a month on their dog. You know how much that costs over 10 years? You could have bought a really nice Tesla or two.
or two. So when we say we're getting organized, I think we're looking at getting things done, not miss stuff and spend less time finding things. Don't you agree?
Yeah, really. There's a concept by David Allen who wrote the book Getting Things Done. And our brains are like RAM in a computer. And when it has too much, you're trying to remember, it just slows down. And we're not good at storing data. We're good at thinking and being creative. Our subconscious doesn't know the difference between past, present, and future. And to illustrate this, think of a room in your house where you have an unfinished project. Before you walk in the room, you're feeling great. But when you see that project, you say to yourself, oh, I need to really get that done. In fact, you may even feel it in your body, this feeling of, I got to do that. And if you can write it down in a place where you know you can retrieve it when you need it, you can let it go out of that RAM. So it's really important to create a system so that you can remember. There's just too much stuff. I don't know. Do you remember everything?
No, absolutely not. No. And I mean, it's pretty much like I've got to have something that takes that thought process off my plate, right? I don't need to be thinking about how to be organized. I just need to be doing. And so how do you get started?
Well, there's the way I look at it, there's really three components, and you really need a place to log your tasks. And it can't just be 9 places, post-it notes, tasks in Outlook or whatever you use. So have some kind of task management system. If you have a good one, that's fine. I suggest Asana, which is free and it works great. And then the next thing is to clean up your workspace. Stephen Covey said, before you save the world, clean your garage first. If your physical space is organized, it's not organized, it's harder to keep organized. And I found the best way is get everything off your desktop and only put back what you need.
I mean, look how clean that desk is behind you. That's just immaculate.
There you go.
Oh, so's mine, and mine's not even a virtual. So there, I'll show you guys. Have you guys heard of this product, Remarkable?
I've heard of it. I haven't used it.
I don't know if we've got other people watching, but Remarkable is it's actually, I don't know if you can see it. Basically take a pencil out, not a real pencil, and just writes right on it. And it's a virtual notebook, and it has eliminated multiple notebooks that I have. And there's something about tactile actions that helps solidify in your brain. I mean, I've had multiple task lists on my computer and stuff like that, but to have the moment to sit down and just kind of jot out the tasks, that's usually how I did that to keep myself organized on a regular basis. I took out my notepad and I wrote it down, and then I'd leave the office and go home and I didn't have the notepad. Right. So this is not, I'm not getting paid or compensated by Remarkable, but I've showed this to everybody, and it can help reduce the clutter, right? Which is kind of what we're looking for, help reducing the clutter. So it's called Remarkable. Look that up. It could be a pretty awesome gift to yourself. So obviously, have you read Atomic Habits?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So the habit stacking, right? You know, that concept of you've got a routine in the morning and you want to add something to it. So, I mean, have you ever, I'm kind of leading the witness, but how can you use habit stacking in order to get started here in this?
So you're basically talking about wanting to add a habit to an existing routine. There's another guy named Charles Hobbs that talks about tiny little habits. And the way you do that is, let's say you just want to floss your teeth, but you never do it, but you brush your teeth. You plan to floss one tooth. So you set the stall very small. The problem is people have trouble getting started and remembering.
Yeah.
So you have a routine and you've got to plug it in there and have some kind of cue that it's time to do that.
All right. So now adding these cues, you claim that it saves time. How does it save time?
Well, so it feels like a lot of work, putting things in a task manager and tracking them, whether it's using Remarkable or something else. But the fact is, when you have a good system, you tend to batch things and you can get them done much quicker. And so one of the things I recommend to people is to have a weekly administration meeting. Nobody woke up in the morning or got married to do more household administration. So that's both looking at your finances, paying bills. It may be planning for a vacation. It may be booking hotels or, ordering materials that fix your deck or finding a contractor. But the more that you can batch all these little tasks that are more administrative into one time. And my wife and I have a routine of an hour a week every Saturday. We never spend any more than that. And we even look at each other's calendars for the next 2 weeks to see where we have conflicts. And it just helps you be proactive versus reactive and know what's going on, and ends up saving a bunch of time.
All right. Well, what keeps you from what keeps people from following through with this?
Complexity is the enemy of execution. Have you ever heard that one?
No, I have not, but I like it.
Yeah. Well, the more complex things are, the harder to learn a new habit. And so one of the challenges is that it takes change, even great change that you're excited about, takes some effort and change. You're in the conscious, not the subconscious. You don't have unconscious competence.
Right.
So you have to actually decide to build this into your working routine. It's far easier to stay organized and on top of your money if you do it every week than at the end of the month.
So, in addition to kind of adding these habits and starting to, find out where your money's going, what are the other benefits?
Well, with a system, again, I mentioned you're more efficient. If you're managing your expenses the way I talk about, all your expenses are tracked. Taxes are easier. You're much more aware. You can get out of debt easier. Deadlines are rarely missed. And probably the biggest benefit is communication in marriages is improved.
Awesome. Communication and marriage. That's hand in hand. Now, what is one word that you would say to keep in mind if you wanted to get on top of your finances and be more organized?
Consistency. I've got another great quote for you.
All right.
And I'm sure you were told this as a child. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing poorly. You ever heard that?
No, not poorly. Always well done.
Yeah. So imagine you're learning French and you never spoke French.
Uh-huh.
How are you going to be at the beginning?
Probably not great.
Yeah, but it's worth doing. So don't be discouraged. Just start to get organized, start to track stuff. There's a lot of great information out there, and set a time to sit down at your desk. How many times do we skip it weekend, 2-3 weeks? And now we have a pile at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And who wants to look at that pile?
Not me.
Okay.
So any final thoughts?
Well, money skills are today's survival skills. You really need to know where you stand. Inflation's eating up our money. Subscriptions are robbing our accounts. You have to be aware of things to know that you're not having your identity stolen. And if you're not keeping track of things and have a spending plan where you're proactively deciding what you're doing, it's just record keeping. So in order to stay consistent, you need to be really efficient with your time, and your systems will do that if you'll invest the time and consistency in building a system.
All right. Very good. Doug, always a pleasure. Great conversation with you. And how can our listeners get in touch with you?
The easiest way is go to schedulewithdoug.com. And then you can see my calendar. You can see a phone number. It's easier than remembering an email address.
Can you just Google that, schedulewithdoug.com?
No, just type it. That's the URL. Just type it in the search and it'll go right to my scheduling app.
Schedulewithdoug.com. Awesome.
All
Doug,
right.
thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it.
Thanks for being here. And you can also buy these great sweaters. No, you can't. But I should
like,
tell
oh,
them.
promotional products. little ugly sweaters branded by Doug. Very nice.
TPS cups, merchandise.
There you go. All right. Thanks, Doug. I appreciate it.
Merry Christmas.
All right. Merry Christmas. Up next, we're going to have Alicia Howard from College Insights after this short commercial break.